So what we'll be doing now is sort of like a brief introduction to what Dragon Bones is, as this little tutorial is going to show you how to get characters into Dragon Bones and then get ready to rig them. So what you'll see when you open Dragon Bones is the welcome page. Nice little welcome page here. A few little projects, little demos that you can do yourself, little video tutorials, user guides, all the lovely stuff that you'd like to see. Like I say, you got various different sample projects that shit with it, and different demos. But what we were going to do is starting your own project. So we'll be making our own little project. So don't be clicking on any of these just yet. There's two sort of ways, well three technically, to do that. You can click up here, click File, click New Project. You have this little button here as well, which is Control N, up at the top. To New Project. Oh, you have this lovely little green icon here, this new project. So what we'll do, click on this one here, open a new project. You'll get met with this little screen here, so create animation, create motion comic. The first one here, create animation, is for characters as you'll see in video games. It's sort of rigging characters for animations. Examples of this will be sort of creating animations for your enemies walking, attacking, jumping, etc. This other option here, so create motion comic, is an animation type similar to sort of cutscenes that you'll see in superhero movies. So when you watch your Marvel movies, it's sort of that little comic, create motion comics. It's used for like text and sort of comic page backgrounds. We'll not really be looking at this. We'll be creating animation for our characters, so we're going to click here on this create animation tab. And then what you met with is a few different options. So you have your armature template, that is used to create bones that will facilitate the animation process, like making poses for your characters. So you create that armature, that them sort of skeletal rigs. The second option here is this frames template. It's used for traditional sort of frame by frame animation, in which we need to sort of make you sort of making that keyframe, so you just frame by frame. So let's go on and create this armature template here. Just click finish. So click armature, make sure armature is click there, click finish. Then what you met with is this user interface. Now, first time in, you're probably going to think it's a bit confusing, a bit overwhelming. But it's nice and simple, not too much to sort of go off. What we've got here is your property settings. So I'm in armature, frame rate 24 frames per second. You can click this canvas button, and then what it'll do is, if you're used to Unity, you'll sort of know what this little camera, you'll be sort of like creating a little camera for your canvas. This is your canvas size. You can change it depending on sort of what you wanting to create. But for us, we're just going to make sure we uncheck that. We then have our scene here. This is where everything goes into the scene, so everything gets put into the scene, gets put into this layer system. Similar to Maya, you see your left hand side on Maya when you've got all your different sort of assets. Very similar to that, so everything we put in a scene will show here. You then got a draw order, another little tab there where everything goes in as well. Then down here is your library. Everything that we put into this scene will be there. So when we start sorry, not into the scene, so into the project, everything we put to the project goes into the library. So similar to sort of Premiere Pro, you put everything in your sort of projects folder, and then you drag and drop everything into the scene. If for whatever reason yours is not showing, you've got you've clicked off X on all these, so you've no longer got all these options. What you want to do is click into Windows. You'll see here these little options that are checked. So what we do, click on scene, just make sure it's checked. Property, draw order, library. It's all there. We can then drag and move them wherever we want to move them. Again, similar to sort of Substance Painter, I guess, or any other program you've used. Drag and drop and move them wherever you want. So you'll see you can do project, and then what we can do is file, save your project. So save project as. The first thing we'll do, make sure to save it. So save your project wherever it needs to go, and then what we'll do is start divulging into sort of the importing your character. So to first do that, importing your character, what you're going to want is your character sheets. There's two ways you can do this. So you can separate your character off here, saving them all as different PNGs, as you'll see here, and in the files this will be on Google Classroom, so you'll be able to download this as well. It's all set up, so you got your front hand, front leg, front legs, ears, faces, heads, everything's separated so they can then animate it. What I'll do is I'll show you the first method of doing that. So let me just click on all these boxes here. Just select them all and just drag and drop them into your library. And then what you see is in this library tab here, we have got them all imported. So again, layering system, just like Photoshop, everything's separated. You can just delete these if you've just got the Photoshop file. So say you've got a Photoshop file like this. If you save it as all sort of separated into layers again, you can import this into Dragon Bones as well, and it will sort of differentiate and separate it for you. So let me just save that as Control S, save that into my folders. Go back over, and you'll see a sample parts folder I've got. You can drag and drop it if it's going to work this time, and it will bring it in. Sometimes it's a bit funny, so yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. You'll see it's gone into the library here. So easiest way to do it is just clicking all your parts. So here we go, we'll click as parts that are separated and drag them and drop them into his library so they're all there. So you see all my parts are there. Let's drag one on. So here we are, my, I think this is part of an explosion, yep. So we just drag and drop them, and you'll see they do come up here into as layers as well. So let's bring that in, you'll see it starts layering. This icon here is very important. What that is saying that this image, when we start adding bones and stuff on, you'll see the icons change. And what we'll see is also on the left hand side, when we click on it, you got your options. You can rename it. Try and keep in a sort of naming fashion that actually makes sense. You know, labeling hands, heads, legs. Don't be doing that. And then what we can do is once we click on it as well, you'll see we have different options here. So we can move it left and right if we don't want to use gizmo, up and down. We can scale it. But usually what I'd stick to is using your gizmo. It's nice and easy. You can move it around, similar to sort of any other program we've been using. And then what we can do is drag that across. Mine's decided to just do a little thing. So what I'll do, delete that out. Show you then what we can then do to bring his character in. What I do for your character is I have a little blank sheet here where the character's actually created in Photoshop. It's the full character that I can then use as a template. Because ultimately what we're going to be doing is having to rebuild that character because we've got it in all parts. And if I drag a torso here, I drag his hair in, it's all mismatched. So let me select that, delete that out. So what I'll do is bring a reference image in, just line it up there, and then you'll see it's already, the character's built there, and then we can drag and drop parts on, a bit like, you know, making a jigsaw puzzle. So what you first want to do, find your sample there, and you have these options up here in your scene. So you can toggle on and off, so whether we want to see it or not, and then we can also lock it. So here if I click lock, similar to Photoshop, you can't move that character. Let me unlock it, turn visibility on and off. So what you first want to do is start building your character back up, putting them in place. So what I'll do now is I'll start doing that. Let me delete that here after that scene. So yeah, we'll lock it. We'll bring in different body parts. Let's have a look what we've got. We'll start off the bottom. So we've got his torso. So again, all we're doing is just putting it together like a jigsaw puzzle. You'll see as well when we start bringing things in, it's going to start layering up. So if I bring in his head now, his head is laid up above his torso. But if I wanted his torso to be above his head, I can just drag and drop it if it's going to let me do it. No, it's parented it. Let's drag that up and above. So it has got that layering system, which can get a bit confusing. Let me bring everything else in now. So we've got his torso, we've got his head. Where is his cloth? Bring in his cloth. It's our face. We'll leave that face there just for now. Front end. One. Oh, I've selected everything. Move that across. So you see what I'm doing, you can use your arrow keys as well, just to make it a bit easier. I use them sometimes just to make sure we're lined up perfectly. That's front and part 1. Bring in front and part 2. Line that up. Front leg. So again, to move about as well, it's your right mouse click to move left and right, up and down. Scroller in and out. And then just left mouse click if you want to highlight everything. Let's bring in front leg part 2. Bring that in, front leg 2 there. Slowly bringing everything in. His hair. So you see I've separated his hair as well, because what we're going to do is look at using sort of bend animations to make his hair sort of flick. What else have we got? We've got his hammer, different sort of weapons as well. We'll leave that out for now. Lower body, bring that in. So you see for now all I'm doing is I'm just dragging everything in. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause this here and just pick up once I finish, because it's just going to be a very long video if not. So we're back. What I've done is I've made everything as it should be. Everything's sort of laid up. You'll see a character here. Let me just quickly turn that back on. So you see, matched him up. Now if you're having difficulty, obviously things are layered wrong, things are incorrect. What you want to be doing is in your draw order. Here's where we can change things. So say I don't know, I want his eyes to be in front of his hair. You need to make sure you're in that draw order tab, and you can bring it up, and you'll see it's come above. In fact, that's probably a bad example. Yeah, see if I want his eyes to be behind his head. I don't know why I'd want that, but I could. Yeah, you'll see it goes there. So it's just these layering styles, exactly the same as sort of Photoshop, After Effects, anything else we've used similar to that. You're just dragging layers up above each other, getting that ready. A couple of little things you might need to know is up here we have our different options. So you'll see if you did what I did when you've probably seen in this video a little bit, where I'm clicking on things and things are not moving. It is up here. So you want your select tool, Q on your keyboard to give you this little gizmo. So you have your ability to move it on its different axis, and also scale it from your gizmo. It's just things you might need to know. You've got different tools that we'll be looking at later, so creating boards, weights, pausing, so zooming in and out, that kind of thing, fit to stage. But yeah, that's everything for now. Get your character imported in, get him all laid up, ready to then be rigged. Yeah, that's it for now.